Welcome to Cook with Joy. I'm Joy Kelly, and this is my favorite cooking show because it's my cooking show, and I hope it's becoming your favorite cooking show too.
It's my favorite cooking show.
Awesome. Every week we try to bring you something that's fun, that's clever, that's easy. It's all plant-based and it's all gluten-free. And sometimes I use other people's recipes, like today. I have a recipe that I found on Whole Foods website. Did you know they have recipes on Whole Foods?
I did not know that.
We sometimes call Whole Foods Whole Paycheck, but I do still love shopping there. And I love that they've got recipes for using some of their products on their website. And sometimes it's really fun to take something that might be on their shelves, like this pizza crust mix on their shelves. Up here? You want it up here?
Right here, right. I want to be able to see it.
Can you see that?
I can see it.
Okay. So this is a great pizza crust mix. It's really good. It's just that it doesn't have the harmful stuff in it, but it doesn't necessarily have anything that's fabulous for you, other than it's got a little bit of granulated garlic. So what I like to do on the show is take recipes and make them be not only like really, really good, but really good for you too. So I like this recipe. It's a lentil flatbread crust. I hope that it works, but this is the first time that I've tried it. So let's get started.
Does it have tartar in it?
Not tartar, no, it's tartar anyway. It's cream of tartar, but it doesn't have cream of tartar in it. This pizza crust mix does. So the first thing we're gonna do is start with lentils, and I soaked these overnight. This is 1 cup of lentils, and look at how big they get. And Whole Foods has lentils in their bulk department, but they also sell them by Bob's Red Mill sells them. There's a bunch of different companies that sell their lentils. So either way is fine. I like to get bulk often because I know it's going to be a little bit fresher, and I like that Whole Foods has that bulk department. So I've soaked them overnight.
There's 2 big ones in there.
There's 2 big ones because those are not lentils, those are garlic. And it calls for 1 clove of garlic, but I like garlic, so I put 2 cloves in, and who knows what size they actually asked for. So I drained and I rinsed them, and now I'm going to add them to the food processor.
Is that a new food processor?
This is not a new food processor. This is the same one that I've had for 11 years, and it still works great for 60 bucks. Maybe they're up to 70 by now, but I love Hamilton Beach. They're just one of the best food processors out there. It's got a wide top, which really makes a big difference.
Does a lid fit?
See, well, it does, but sometimes I jam it on there. You see how big the lid is on this? You can put whole big pieces of things like a small onion or an apple. You don't have to cut it up into little teeny tiny pieces like you do with some of the other food processors out there. I've added the lentils to the food processor. I'm preheating the oven at 425, okay? So that's really important. And then before I mix this up, I'm gonna take my handy dandy parchment paper, and you've all heard me talk about parchment paper. You can use parchment paper or one of those silicone sheets instead of oiling the pan. Now this recipe is kind of interesting because not only does it call for parchment paper, but it also has you oil the parchment paper, and I think that's for flavor more than anything else. But this is the first time I've made this recipe, so you're getting to see it in action. We're gonna see if it works, Whole Foods. You know what, this doesn't have one of those little, okay, Whole Foods, you need to put a little serrated edge on this so that this comes off better. This is not tearing neatly, and it looks bad on my show. It's not looking good. See, that was
smooth. That was really smooth.
I am anything but smooth. Okay, so I'm lining the pan, and I had to fold that edge under because I couldn't get a clean cut, but that's okay. We'll just set
Not
that.
like we're making a TV show or anything.
Yeah, it's not like we're making a TV show. It's just YouTube, right? So the next thing I'm supposed to do is add some water, but these look really moist to me, so I'm only going to add water if I need it. I'm supposed to also add the garlic, salt, and a ½ teaspoon of baking powder. And you know how I don't like to measure stuff very much? Baking powder and yeast and baking soda, you have to measure that stuff. So I'm going to grab my little, okay, Derek, what did you do with my, oh, there it is, okay. I'm going to grab my little measuring spoon, and this is a Pampered Chef measuring spoon, and I think I've showed you this before.
Is that the one that looks like a pregnancy test?
You think it looks like a pregnancy test. I'm too old to think about pregnancy tests, but it goes from 1 teaspoon all the way up to a ½ teaspoon. So I kind of like that. I don't have to have a bunch of different teaspoons, and it's got one that goes all the way up to a tablespoon too. So this is one of my favorite little tools that I have. I'm just going to get a little bit of baking soda. And you know, I got to figure out how to keep baking powder a little softer, because if you don't use it very often, it's hard to keep it really soft. And you see I'm having a little bit of a hard time getting that out. But I will find out that answer, and probably everybody wants to know that answer, right? It's just like brown sugar. I know there's a secret to brown sugar as well.
You put like a little bear in it, that makes sense.
A little bear, yes. Okay, so I've got this all together, and now we're just gonna blend it. And here we go with my top, my famous top. I got it on in one try. And here we go, let's hope it works. Let's have a look at that. It's supposed to be smooth, and I think it could be a little bit smoother. I am gonna add just a little bit of water, not much. Not a whole half cup like it asks for. I'm just gonna add a little bit. See, because we want it to get it to a consistency that'll actually pour onto the pan. Okay, I think that's it. All right. So that looks pretty good. You want to see that consistency? So it's pretty smooth consistency. I would probably want to scrape it down a little bit and get all those lentils. Lentils are awesome because they're really high in fiber. The red color, of course, is going to add more antioxidants to your diet. But also the fiber helps to lower blood pressure and lower blood sugar. So it's really, really a great thing to make a pizza crust out of, as opposed to just using flour, even though it would be gluten-free flour. This recipe calls for adding olive oil to the bottom of the parchment paper, which I've never done before. So I'm gonna just add a little bit, and I'm sure that they wanna do it for taste. This is Santa Barbara Olive Oil Company olive oil, which I really like. And we're just going to drizzle the parchment paper with that olive oil. It's not going to stick to the pan because it's got parchment paper on it already, but the olive oil is just there to give it extra flavor. And now the moment of truth, we're going to pour it out onto the parchment paper. I'm kind of nervous about this. Are you nervous, Derek?
I'm always nervous.
You are?
Always.
I didn't know that about you.
I just want it to work.
Yeah, I know.
We only have one take.
You seem so confident all the time. Okay. I've got that out there, and then I'm just going to spread it out. And you know how flatbread these days, the popular thing is that they don't look very even anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to smooth it out, and you could probably do this as thin as you wanted it to be. I'm really kind of excited to see how this is going to turn out. It calls for you to cook it at 425 for 20 to 25 minutes, but I kind of have a feeling it's going to cook faster than that. I'm not sure.
Do you put it on the top of the rack or the bottom of the rack?
It doesn't really matter. It's only when you live at altitudes that it really matters. Okay, and it doesn't specify in the recipe anyway, but I don't think it really matters.
What's the altitude of Santa Barbara?
It's sea level.
So 0.
All right, now it says to put olive oil over the top again. I'm going to use an olive oil that a friend gave to me that has a little bit of flavor to it. This is a garlic and mushroom olive oil. I'm not really sure where it came from. A friend of mine found it downtown in the Funk Zone. And I'm just going to drizzle that on top just for a little added flavor. I don't want to get too much olive oil on it. You see those guys at the pizza kitchens that brush them, and that would probably be better like as it came out, and we could try that too. So when we see how this looks as we get it out, then we'll try it. So have a look. I'm going to add a little splash of salt because I didn't do that in the food processor, so I'm just going to add a touch of salt on top. Look at that, looks pretty good. I'm kind of impressed with myself, and we're just gonna stick it in the oven and see how it turns out. Cross your fingers. Okay, so the recipe called for 20 to 25 minutes. I cooked it for 15, and I think this is pretty darn good. Derek, what do you think?
I think it looks delicious. Can I have some?
We gotta put some stuff on it first, but look at it, it looks really, really, really good. And you know, I wanna just taste a little piece of this just to see, because like I like crust, and it should taste good by itself without anything on it, and this tastes amazing. I can't believe this.
Can I have some?
Yeah, for sure. You should taste this because this is awesome. This tastes, I don't know, I mean, I can't even put my finger on what it tastes like, but I can't believe that it was this simple. Red lentils, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of baking powder, a little bit of olive oil, and I mean, this is, I'm going to be making all my pizza crusts like this from now on because this is like amazingly good for you and it tastes really great. Derek, you want to try it?
I do.
Here you go. I think Whole Foods has a winner with this, really. And now you're going to top it with whatever you would normally top a flatbread or a pizza with. You could put a red sauce on it. You could make it a white pizza. You know, really whatever you wanted. You could put a bunch of greens. I mean, I would even make this just to serve as actual bread. And I think as it cools down, it could get a little harder, and maybe if I spread it out a little bit further, I could actually make crackers out of this. I mean, how cool would that be? Simple little lentil crackers. This is one of my best finds all season. I am in love with this.
It's really good.
Hats off to whoever created this recipe. I think it works, and I can't wait to show you my next recipe next week on Cook with Joy. Don't miss it.